To Net for Educational, and now welcome Christine Tomides, our guest and speaker of the evening. The speech is titled ToastPod. Ryan Curry will be the evaluator. Ryan, would you mind sharing a brief with us, please?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for the evening. So, Christine will be speaking on the topic, speech title will be ToastPod. The purpose of this project is for the member to be introduced to the skills needed to organize and present a podcast. The purpose of the speech is for the member to introduce this podcast and present a segment of the podcast. This has changed slightly, and it's going to be just a pure speech without the podcast being shown. And that's how it's changed slightly, so that'll be Christine's topic for the evening. Thank you.
All right. So the title ToastPod, Christine Tomides. Christine, ToastPod. Thank you.
It's time to do 6 to 8 minutes.
7, 6 to 8.
Yeah. 6 to 8. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia 28 years ago. I was told I would never have any more children and I would be on medication for the rest of my life. I have a daughter now of 24. I haven't been on medication for 25 years because I found God and I'm following a spiritual path. What does this have to do with the podcast? No, the podcast is not about that. We will discover it as we go along. Now, I think anybody who knows even just a little bit about schizophrenia, you hear voices. It can be quite disconcerting. Now, obviously now, as I said, 25 years, I haven't had any medication. But I can be in certain situations where my auditory senses are a little bit off, depending on the room that I'm in. A typical example was, the worst example is, years ago I went to a restaurant in Hatfield with my then husband. There was an upstairs section, there was an outside section, and there was an inside section. In the inside section, there was a dome. We happened that particular evening to get seats in the dome. We were sitting there at the table. And I said to my husband, I'm not feeling so good. Now, I don't know if anybody's been or heard about St. Paul's Cathedral in London. There is a huge dome at the top, probably longer than this area here. And then there's a wall around, and you can actually look down to the bottom of the cathedral. But if you stand on one side and you whisper against the wall, and somebody's standing on that side, it travels all the way to the other side. And you can whisper and they can hear you. As I'm sitting in the dome in the restaurant, it was those people that are over there are whispering in my ear because of the dome in the restaurant. So I said, we need to move. I can't sit here. So we had to go sit outside. That was probably the most significant aspect of my auditory. This podcast I actually did with Stefan Flian, who's a member here. He was busy with level 4 and I'm busy with level 4. So we decided to do it together. Our first meeting was at my place. I interviewed him. No, he interviewed me and I interviewed Paul Mellor. And we probably did about an hour and 20 minutes. Now, for us to both tick the box for the podcast, I have to do an hour and he had to do an hour. So after we did the first one, he put a microphone about probably from here to there that would pick up as we're talking, and he had this camera there. I did feel the first one was after we did the second one, was more of an interview style. And we had general ideas, I wrote down questions. I thought it went quite comfortably. Then after about 2 weeks, Stefan phoned me and he said, we need to do another one because he needs to tick the box for an hour and I need to tick the box for an hour. So this time I went to his place and he was very excited because he'd gotten earphones and he'd gotten a microphone, these nice microphones. So we sit down and now he's testing the equipment. Now, I'm sure all of us here have taped our voices when we've been practicing speeches. And I don't know if anybody else here, when you hear your voice back, you think, oh, my voice sounds terrible. It's not a good sound. So I sit down and I put the earphones on. And Stefan says, just be careful because the microphone's very sensitive these days. So now he's testing it. So I put the earphones on, but now I must now talk. And I'm listening to my voice. And I can hear my voice in my head. Now I meditate, I listen to meditation music, but this sound of my own voice in my head in this manner was the most comforting feeling I have ever experienced. Now, this is obviously connected to my auditory and my history, but I cannot explain to you the peace and the tranquility that I felt listening to my own voice. Now, I'm sure everybody here, most of you know Stefan, he's a gentle soul. He's got a nice voice. So the two of us sitting there, having this conversation. Now, the second podcast that we did was less like an interview and more of a conversation. Obviously, the conversation was about Toastmasters, it was about breathing techniques, it was about vocal variety. So we were both very comfortable, but it felt like a conversation. What was also quite, what's the word I want to use? Not just peaceful. As anybody, and I had to write this down because I don't know how to say it quite. Has anybody heard of ASMR? Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, which is a tingling sensation in the scalp and down the neck, as experienced by some people in response to a specific gentle stimuli, often a particular sound. So it wasn't just my own hearing my own voice. It was this sensory thing. You actually get it on YouTube as well. They do it for children and they do it for adults. And it's a very soft, gentle sound that gives you goosebumps. I experienced this during the podcast, listening to this. So yes, I learned how to do a podcast. I learned the different styles, the interview style, the conversational style. For myself, the experience of the headphones and the microphone is probably beyond anything that anybody in the room would actually experience. So what is the result of all this? Every single project that you do at Toastmasters, if you have your mind and your heart open, you will learn something new. It's like people who will do the communication, what is your communication style on the one pathway. When you do another pathway, you have to do the same speech again. Well, not the same speech, but the same project. If you delve a little bit deeper, you will learn extra things. So my challenge to everybody, especially the Toastmasters, you will learn extra things if you are open to it. Mr. Toastmaster.